All right. Hey, guys. It's Carlos from Immortals Inc. Podcast. I have Mikey on the, I don't even know what to call it anymore.
Yeah, he calls it
typewriter.
He calls it a typewriter. It is a computer. It's what you actually use to do this stuff. I'm here.
And we have brought in Amanda Powell, our
She's back.
favorite
World of Darkness
person, to talk about a little bit about Chicago by Night that was recently released by World of Darkness? No.
When did it come out?
Oh, Renegade Game Studios.
I don't know off the top of my head, but
It's a
it's
couple
fairly
weeks ago,
recent.
Yeah.
Right around Halloween-ish airtime, so
Yeah,
we're only
perfect.
a month late. It's cool.
Yeah, we're here. It's early, though.
So I got this because I'm running a campaign here.
Oh, wait. What's her AKA now?
I go by Notorious Nana Yaga
Yeah.
online.
Links in the description. Okay. Simple.
The whole thing because I'm a Hag sympathizer.
She's a
as I
Hag
said.
sympathizer. That's another video.
Oh,
like
my
you said.
God. Get out. Anyway, go ahead.
I couldn't run Vampire if I wasn't.
Exactly.
So I got this book, one out of interest and two out of necessity because it is like a Dungeons and Dragons module for a storyteller for Vampire.
Oh, okay.
So it has a lot of stuff that you can just take and run. It has NPCs, it has relationship maps, it has some expanded rules.
Okay.
So there's some cool stuff in there. The lore sheets, it expands character creation. So that was one of the highlights that I found in there. Gives you a little bit more flavor for some of the clans like Malkavian, little bit for Ventru, a whole lot for Lasombra. So all you Lasombra sympathizers out there, there's totally a lot of stuff in here for
What
you.
is Lasombra's specialty again?
So Lasombra were the bad babies of the previous Vampire the Masquerade. They were the head of the Sabbat. And now the Chicago by Night has a whole storyline about them coming back to the cam.
Well,
And how do other vampires feel about it?
It is Chicago. It's old city, so it's probably where the old ones were, right? The Sabbat. Okay, I could see it. I'll allow it.
Next.
Well, the main storyline in here is about the struggle of allowing them to come back.
Oh, okay.
And come to the back to the cam. And so as when you run it as a storyteller, it gives you that whole context that as the Lasombra come back to the Camarilla, how do the other vampires feel about it? And it's mixed. It's a mixed bag. Even the campaign we're running here, the players who've played before already have a feeling about Lasombra because they played before, and I have to remind them, most groups are on the fence about them coming back because they were part of the Sabbat, and some of them still are.
So they were that big of a problem in the game? Like, even the players, like...
Yes. So if you ever played Vampire in the past, in previous iterations, you could tell what somebody was like as a person by what clan they preferred.
Mm-hmm.
And it would show you what their play style was going to be. So if somebody preferred some of the bad groups like the Sabbat, like Lasombra, Zamis, and so forth, you could tell that they were potentially going to be a problem player because they were going to play a bad guy, period. Even if they were playing a different clan later. They tend to hone in on that vibe.
So like a bad guy isn't a bad player, or just...
They're going to play a darker character.
Okay.
So getting them to play a good guy, like think of alignments in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how some players, no matter what they put on their sheet, they're always going to be that
Chaotic
lawful guy or that chaotic guy.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of get a vibe as a storyteller based on that they're generally going to play a character that's not going to be wholeheartedly wholesome.
Yeah.
Well, it is vampire, but...
Yes,
Hey,
I
there's
agree.
good guys in Vampire.
No.
Maybe. Maybe.
There can be.
There can be, I get it.
So that's the main thing about this is it's a very good tool because it has maps, it has a relationship guide, it has tons of NPCs. You can use it. You could just basically take this, the player's guide, and the main book, and you could just run. You could run and have no problems.
Oh, that's nice.
Like I have the Cam guide and the Sabbat guide, which are nice, but I could essentially run without them. Because they're just expansions on the clans.
Okay, I was going to say that's more of a clan. This is more of like
This
you
is a
said,
story.
an adventure. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Is it a Set story? We were just talking sandbox, or is it a sandbox kind of deal?
It's kind of a sandbox idea. It gives you some ideas, and it gives you the characters and their personalities and who they get along with and who they don't get along with, and then you can just run with it. I've been using it.
Oh, okay.
So since I've been running Savannah by Night here, I've been using this as the basis for the NPCs that I have. Of course, I changed the names and everything, but have that dynamic between the prince and his court, or other organizations in town.
Oh, so they're pre-written already, what everybody's
Kind of like, but you can use it as a basis.
Yeah. So you don't have to come with it from scratch. You can just dump. Okay, yeah. That's
so
not
it makes it really easy.
And what's your favorite thing about this? And what's one thing you might say to the developers about what they might have rushed or what they could have done better on?
Less Lasombra. That would have been my first thing. I know that's the whole thing is their history of coming back. But that's just me. I think they could have fleshed out everybody else a little bit more.
Were the Sabbat in Chicago? I mean, they're in Chicago, but is that like their main area? Is that probably why they went heavy? Or are they just trying to...
I think it's because it's a big city and both groups would be in play.
Okay.
And you would also see things like Pentex and the Were Creatures and the Hunters all in full view, because even the Second Inquisition's in here. So there's some more information on Second Inquisition. And there's even lore sheets for that. So there's a lot of cool stuff in here, but I felt it could have been more balanced, like showing more of the different lore sheets for like the Hecata. They could have done a little bit more with them, because the Hecatas, all the necromancers got consolidated into one clan. Okay? So like your Giovanni, your Cappadocian, all of them got merged. And I feel that in the whole set.
In the whole setting?
Yeah. So I feel that they could do something more with that.
Do you think if they came out with other books of other cities and they just highlighted other groups,
that would be cool?
Fix it? Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Maybe they're doing that. I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to what's coming sometimes. So maybe, like, I know they used to have Seattle and New Orleans and all that stuff by night. So like if they came out with, like, say their next book just randomly, I have no idea, but just throwing it out there, say it's New Orleans by night, and then they highlighted another vampire clan. Maybe that's how they're going to go about it.
That's true.
Without making a Sabbat book again, because they already have one, right?
Yeah. The Ellery Sabbat guide. I have everything but the Anarchs and Hunter right now.
Which is backordered.
Yes, I need the Hunter book.
Yeah.
I want the Hunter book.
You should actually come in next time and talk about the Hunter books. We already talked about it, so you can maybe talk about
I like
further delve into it.
Yeah. So
Hunter is kind of my jam. I do like vampire, but I do like the other side, the people trying to keep the city safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you like most about Chicago by Night?
Like I said, the lore sheets, because they even expanded on something that was old. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Malkavian, the insane vampires.
Yep.
They have a lore sheet for them called the Cobwebs, and it brings back the Madness Network. So if you've ever played a Malkavian, that was a big thing you wanted to be part of if you were playing a Malkavian. And so to bring it back with the Cobwebs, I thought that was pretty sweet. To kind of... This will upset my husband, but the fact that they made it like the Lasombra and the Ventru are two sides of the same coin made me laugh, because there's a lore sheet of both of them basically getting perks that are identical.
Yeah,
so it's like, I'm related to this special Lasombra, or I'm related to this special Ventru, so I get all these social perks. And they both have it, but it's just under a different person's name. It's like, I'm a descendant of so-and-so.
Okay.
So
basically, you have to share something they didn't want to share with somebody now, right?
Yep.
Another clan.
I also thought it was cool they brought back some of the combo disciplines that are in there. So some of the disciplines in the past, like Obtenebration, which is now called Oblivion, you could pair it with another power like Potence, which is super strength, or Thanatosis, which is like to decay, and you could use them together.
Oh,
and
okay.
so there are combo disciplines listed in here.
That's cool.
That wasn't in the core.
There's a little bit, but it's an expansion.
So it's a lot more in here.
Well, you weren't always able to combine those either.
No, in the old books you could, like old VTM, combo disciplines was a big deal. currently they're using that as a way to get rid of some of the older disciplines like Obeya, which is healing, is now a combination of Auspex and Fortitude.
Okay.
So instead of it being its own power.
There's a lot going on right there, so keep going. No, I'm not.
You gotta do
like she's talking.
do your
like,
research.
it's like,
The ability to heal is a big deal in Vampire. It's not common.
What about the one? Yeah.
oh yeah,
Remember the dust
that.
one where you could just turn the dust?
Yeah.
Yes, I do
Nah,
like that's
yes.
Thanatosis.
Yes,
I love
yes,
Thanatosis.
okay.
That was one of my favorite disciplines.
Yeah.
See,
Everybody
like, you
did
could
that.
tell, like you could tell that you're like well versed in these rules. I am like barely hanging on, and I know Mikey's brain's over there exploding. So,
I just remember turning to dust, and I think about all the Avengers at the end of Infinity War.
which is not a problem. Keep going because it's like
It's
deep.
Yeah.
It's one of those who know.
If you know, you know. Type
It is
situation.
one of those. The other cool tool that's in there is the encounter tables. So that's something that hasn't been part of the old guides. So
No.
there's legit a traffic table. Do you run into pedestrians? Do you run into getting pulled over?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And so it has like random things that can happen to you.
Like a random encounter table.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's like a random encounter table for when your characters are traveling, which is always something they want to do. They always want to go drive by car and go somewhere. And when I ran Vampire, I would just come up with weird stuff that would happen to them. Now I don't have to. It's on a table. I can just roll for it and go for it from there.
That
It's like you get pulled
the
over.
mundane stuff. Because I mean, you would have to deal with mundane stuff, and
Yeah.
even mundane. Well, I said like mundane 8 times in a row, but even the normal stuff that people just experience every day as a vampire, or if you're doing something, it
Yeah,
adds.
it adds
you have
more-
to deal with that.
It
you
adds
know?
more
It's-
realism too, because
Yeah.
you're like, well, why didn't he get pulled over? He's going 95 and a 20, and nobody's budging. It's like,
Yes.
Or like if I get arrested, it's going to be a problem. You know,
Yeah.
it's like simple stuff
like
like.
how is he saving the world and hasn't hit a pedestrian yet? You
I
know what
haven't. I haven't updated my license in 50 years. No.
yeah. How are you 285, sir? So yeah, BMV issues. Yeah, BMV random encounters. Yeah.
There's stuff for that. If you look throughout all the new books, like, yeah, they changed some things with nature and demeanor and went with the predator types and all that stuff, but they've done an expansion on the cam. There's new positions to kind of help vampires do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit about some of those positions in here, like kind of a little bit more expansion. There's like a faith role that's like, this is how vampires live and this is how they believe. And then there's their counterpart, the shadows, which is kind of deals with how do you live in the shadows of human life. And so they have those roles in here and you can kind of see them as a character and what are they actually doing as this character. So in the past, there was stuff like a harpy primer. So if you were the harpy of the city that kept track of everybody's debts to each other, it was like a little handbook. And here it kind of just shows it. As this character, this is what they do. This harpy, she manages all the boons. She
Okay.
makes sure she keeps track of all the acknowledgments. And so it's kind of like a less wordy way to learn the roles. And honestly, I think people could use this and they could take the NPCs and make them as character sheets to kind of like as a
starter.
practice character and kind of learn the ropes and see how the roles fit and learn the positions in the cam. And
When you're running there, do you do that for players?
I
Make the
have
new-
pre-gens ready.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a big hurdle in a lot of these games is the characters. Anyway, that's another podcast. But anyway, does this book have like I know this sounds dumb, but I always like when books put in when they're like real world books, they always put in the history of the actual city,
Yes.
and then they integrate some like vampire or whatever it is. Okay, that has
Yes.
one of those little.
It even has like maps of the subways and things.
Yeah.
So it's
'Cause
it's immersive.
Because it makes me go Google it. I'm like, is that a real thing? You know, and then you're like, okay, what's real, what's not in here? And obviously some stuff's like, Vampire Uprising. Okay, not real, but I don't know, a tower fell or some building burned. I'm like, oh, is that real? And then I find myself going down the historical route, like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like some crazy old guy. But yeah, it's that's cool too. Worth the money?
I think so.
How much is this thing? $55. Oh, that's not bad.
We have it on the shelf, right?
Yeah.
Over
Yep.
here at Immortals. Yep. It's in the description.
It's huge.
Show some of the art in there. There's some art in there.
I don't know. I'm afraid to look at art.
And sometimes the art's a little sketchy in the vampire books. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
tell you.
we're not going to do that, Mike. Remember last-
Yeah, we just got
Every
past
time I open a
1,000. I
book,
don't want
hey,
to
look
get
at
us
this
banned.
picture. Pow! that's what I got.
Yeah.
and trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to do we don't want to do the Lamentations thing again.
It's the Lamentations booklets. Anyway,
But yeah, I think it's great. I had concerns when I was first getting it because I was like, well, why would I get a city-based book? But it's turned out to be a really great tool.
well, it sounds like they put a lot of extra stuff in there, not just Chicago, but just stuff you could use. You told her like in the first 2 minutes of the when you were talking about all the extra stuff in there that you could use for every campaign and everything. Yeah,
And I'm hoping if they do other cities that they do have, like if they with this they did La Sombra, maybe if they do something with the Hecata and be like, this is a story about Hecata, go with it.
That seems like, because I don't know why they would put all that in that book and then forget everybody else. So maybe they are down the line going in. And Renegade Games is really good, and they've made a lot of good products. So
I think so.
I'm not going to doubt it. And you're still running.
Yep, I'm running
Vampire.
Savannah by Night.
All right.
So I'm running it on December 2nd, and again on January 13th. I'm gonna do once a month.
Okay.
And on a Saturday night, so that way it's more
Yeah.
easy
easier.
for people to be here and not distract Adventure League.
Man.
So
Adventure League. Saturday night or Sunday night?
Saturday night, because I was running stuff on Sundays, and I'm like, I might do Kids on Bikes on Sundays, and it's not that big of a deal. But a lot of people like to come to Vampire.
I know. How many groups you have? How many tables you running?
Right now we're running one, but I have 2 additional storytellers, so that way we could run 3 tables.
Nice.
Maybe we'll have to figure out.
So if you're interested, come by at the shop and Amanda will
we'll
get
have
you
to
set
figure
up.
out the later hours or something again. So.
Yeah, I'm running 5 to 9, and I'm here as early as 4, so that way if somebody needs help with character creation.
Booyah.
All right, Amanda, thanks for coming in. We'll
Thank you
have
for
some
having
more.
me.
You're always welcome to come on in and talk about something, because obviously you're
Yeah,
far,
maybe we'll talk about Hunter next time.
far more knowledgeable than we are about this stuff, and I think people would like to ask. And if you have any questions for Amanda, just put it in the comments.
Yep.
And we can talk about it. And till next time.
Later, y'all.
Bye.